Friends, I'm live doing a quick little video here. I probably won't be very long tonight, and there may not be anyone jump on. I haven't given anyone any warning about this. Very low light. I have one small lamp here, but I'm going to talk. Tonight I just feel compelled to say something about it because it's been about a week and 2 days since we lost Nico the pug. So those of you who have watched my videos for many years, ever since I've been doing videos, we've had Nico. Nico was a female pug that was deaf the whole time that we had her. Nikki came out of a previous marriage and had had the pug in that marriage, and then she had to sort of give the pug up because when her marriage split up, she moved to a place that wouldn't allow dogs, and so her ex kept the pug. And then when we met, we got to babysit the pug one weekend. Actually, a couple pugs they had. I'd never had a pug dog before. I was a golden retriever guy. I had a golden retriever named Maggie that and I ended up losing when she was about 12 and a half years old. But long story short here is that at some point, Nikki's ex decided he would let us have the pug because he was moving on to some other things. It's going to be hard to take the dog. So for, I guess, 8 years, we had Nico. And so she developed cancer, 15 years and 8 months old is how old she was, I think. She was born on Christmas Day. So why am I making a big deal about a dog? I know a lot of people don't think you ought to grieve an animal so much or anything, but there are a lot of dog lovers out in YouTube land and across the country, and I'm sure you can sympathize somewhat with me. Nico was a special little animal. First of all, a pug, if you never had one, and they're such a peculiar creature, almost not like a dog in a way. I mean, they're a dog, but they're just, their behavior is strange, and especially since she was deaf, it was even stranger. But they're just like a little baby. It's hard to quite explain how different they are than any other dog. I mean, I've had beagles, we had coonhounds, German shepherds, black and yellow labs. This is growing up I did. We had all kinds of Norwegian elk hound, you know, various different kinds of mutts. And I had Maggie, my golden retriever from my previous marriage, for 12 and a half years. And it was super sad when I had to have Maggie put down, but with Nico, it was absolutely devastating. And so she had lung cancer, and her little left lung, I think, yeah, was almost filled up with a big tumor. And in her right lung, it got into that too. And she, you know, progressed to a point where she had less than 40% lung capacity. And it was getting very hard for her to breathe. And so last Monday, Nikki called our vet, who was an awesome guy, a guy named Dr. Kennedy. For those of you who are local in the Morganton, Valdez area, maybe even Hickory area, North Carolina, I do have some people that watch from this area, that area. I would tell you that the Animal House Veterinary Clinic has a very special doc there, Dr. Kennedy, and he came to our house and put Nico down. I'd never seen an animal put down. I didn't think I could handle it, but I could tell the pug was, you know, scared going through the process, which doesn't take very long. They give them a shot, and in like 30 seconds, they're gone. And it was one of the saddest things I've ever seen. It was brutal. I mean, you know, I watched my dad die of ALS, and nothing. I can't imagine anything being worse than that. But you know, that happened over a long period of time. We had a long time to say goodbye. He knew what was happening to him. He was able to say all these things to soften the whole blow of that. And you know, why do we feel, those of us who are dog lovers, so maybe more sad than when we lose somebody as close to us as a parent? I mean, I'm not diminishing any. You don't know how devastated I was to watch my dad go through that. But my dad, you know, he made it clear to us that he'd lived an awesome life and that he had a great full life. And you know, some things that are different, I guess, when you lose a parent. And maybe it's different if you lose a brother or something. That hasn't happened to me yet. But, you know, you don't see that parent until they're an adult. You know, you are born, and then your parent's already an adult, and they're already an authority figure in your life. And and you lean on them, and then you, at some point, you mature past what you think. You think you know more than they know, and then you go through a period, you kind of rebel and you push against them, and then at some point you start to figure out, oh wow, they really do know more than I know, and then you start to lean on them maybe more, or glean their knowledge and experience from them, and then at some point you have this incredible respect for them. That is, if you have a really great parent, like my mom and dad both that way. And it's going to totally break my heart when I have to say goodbye to my mom, and I hope that's not for many more years. But losing my dad was super tough. But with the little dog, you know, I got Nico halfway through this, but and a lot of the pain I'm experiencing, or have been experiencing, has been by the pain that Nikki's experienced, and that makes it hard for me to watch Nikki grieve an animal. So it's been a week, but you know, when you get a pet, typically you see that pet from the time it's a little puppy, and then it grows to a point where it has an IQ, or I guess a mental capacity of something like maybe a 2-year-old. And then basically it's stuck in little toddler, mode. And so, imagine if you were to lose a toddler. And I'm here again, I don't want to make bad comparisons that way. I mean, I can imagine it'd be 100 times worse if you lost a toddler, but it's that same sort of thing. You've got this little animal that's almost like a toddler in your life. It's always happy to see you, always wagging its tail. Totally depends on you. Just kind of a little thing that brightens up your life and keeps you company, watches every move you make, wants to ride with you, wants to be everywhere that you are. Like Nico would sleep in between my shoulder blade at night when I lay on my side, or if I turned over the other way for some reason, she'd want to go get in the crook of my leg and behind my knees. And so you miss little things like that. You miss every time you get up and the pug barks at you wanting you to get a treat or something like that. So, I just wanted to say this a little bit. I don't know if I can quite define why it hurts so bad to lose a really beloved pet. And I don't know of any pet that I've had that's not been beloved, but Nico was a different kind of something there. And maybe even because it represented Nikki in some way, the fact that I love Nikki and I love the things that she loves. And so the dog was, maybe it represented in some way, a fear of losing a bit of Nikki there too. But anyway, I want to say, those of you who've been a fan of my channel, Nico is no more. She used to sit on a little, just as a few weeks ago, back here where this computer bag is sitting. Now, we used to have a little table thing over there, and she would sleep on the floor. So a lot of people have seen Nico and have asked questions. What's that little guy over there called? And let's say, oh, it's a female pug, Nico. So many of my videos, if you watch the old videos, you'll be watching them, and I'll be like playing a guitar or something, or making some comment about something, and you'll hear something tip, tip, tipping and snorting, and I'll say, oh, hey, if you hear weird noises, that's my pug. And so that little bit is gone now, and the house is very quiet and different without her there. So those of you who have been, like I said, a fan of my channel, and there are a lot of people, it blows my mind, that watch so many of my videos. And, I don't quite understand why they do, but that's cool. But if you watched a lot of them, you'll have seen Nikki, of course, from time to time. You'll see Nico a lot, but Nico's gone. And so that's why moving forward, she won't be in some of those videos if people ask questions. Yeah, this is my kind of little goodbye on video to Nico. We did shoot a video before she died. I think it was actually the day before we had her put down. We did trying to think, did we do that video then? I can't remember. I think we did a cooking video, and Nico's going to show up in a cooking video that we did. That'll be the last one that features her in there. So sorry for this terrible quality video. Like I say, I'm shooting almost in the dark. I have a very small little lamp here that I have set beside the Mac in our living room, and Nikki's working tonight. So this is late, almost 10 p.m. And I just wanted to let y'all know that she is no more. We have a beautiful little grave that we dug. I dug. Here's the thing to do. I will say this: if you know you're going to lose an animal, you know you got to put that animal down be sure to go dig the grave ahead of time. Especially, you know, if you're going to go have it done at the vet's office and leave the animal there. We couldn't do that. We wanted Nico here. Nikki wanted Nico here. And so Nico has a place on Mineral Springs Mountain in Valdez, North Carolina for eternity. And, but I would say if you're going to put a pug down, you're going to bury her on your property, go do that grave. Do it before you get your animals down. Do it well before that. And so I did the day before, went out and I dug the hole because I knew I was not going to be in any condition to do it. And I mean, man, we cried. I think I cried half a pound. And man, I haven't cried. I can think of 5 times I've cried since I've been an adult. You know, it's always some big time loss or some big time pain. I mean, even when like I say, when my marriage fell apart, I don't even know that I cried very much. I was in shock. I was in, you know, that kind of thing. That was probably the second saddest thing, you know, that my dad dying, my aunts, we lost both of my aunts. That was super sad. You lose a grandparent, and, you know, a lot of times you see that coming, but I sure miss my grandparents too. And, but Nico, we saw it coming. We knew she had the cancer. We had about 2 months with her. And then one of the tough things, we'll say this, and I'll end this video, but one of the tough things was they decided to give her steroids to kind of help prolong her life, to help her. It kind of helps battle the cancer and slows it a little bit. And so they gave Nico steroids. And whereas Nico seemed like a very old pug before the steroids, those last 2 months with Nico, it was almost like she was a new dog again. Those steroids, her fur became thicker and softer and fluffier, and she got where she could move really good again. I guess the steroids were kind of keeping her from hurting. And so, so it was even tougher to let her go because she'd never been more beautiful. You know, she was an old white-faced pug, but it's like she became a young pug again in a way. She just got to a point where she couldn't breathe. She was like a young, beautiful pug, still had the white face, but like had a lot of spirit and seemed like a lot of life in her, but you could tell she was struggling. And so it made it really hard when you look at her and you think, oh, we could have another week with her, another couple days. And so anyway, I have a person here that's just come on and says, I know my Bella is not doing good. I'm dreading the day. How did you know it was time? Davida, I guess it's Davida. What happened? Of course, Nikki's a respiratory therapist. She did have lung cancer. Nikki, almost every day I'd see Nikki with her stethoscope listening to Nico's chest, and she'd say her lungs are getting more and more diminished. And I'll say this, Dr. Kennedy, the doctor that we worked with to put Nico down, he talked to Nikki a lot. I left it to Nikki because Nikki had the pug before I did. So, you know, I mean, I told Nikki, I said, I'm going to let you make the decision. I said, I don't ever want to let her go. But Nikki talked with that doctor a lot, and the doctor explained to her when it would be the right time. And he also explained to her, you know, when he said, right now, I know you think she's got all this life in her, but listen to how she's breathing. She has 40% lung capacity. It will get down to 30%. It will get down to a point where she's in pain and where she's just suffering from this. And he said, and it will happen fast. He said, the brave thing to do, the right thing to do is to put her down while she's not in pain. And so that's kind of how we knew. Nikki talked with him, and they came to that decision, and I went along with it, of course. But yeah, it's tough. And Walter, thanks for coming in. I see your comment over here. Sorry for your loss, Tony. Chin up. Love your videos. Thanks, man. Appreciate that, Walter. So I'm not going to prolong this video tonight. Again, just know Nico's gone. If you're out there and you're sad because you're getting ready to lose a pet, or you've lost one already, and it's been a good, I would say this: don't be ashamed to be kind of crushed by it. Your friends might not understand. I have, you know, friends at work, and they understood when I took a day off, but I think that they don't quite understand when after a week, it's been a week now, and am I still kind of down about it? I still am, and Nikki's quite affected by it, and so. But at the same time, we don't think we're ready for another animal yet either. We're gonna probably give it at least a year, or I don't know. I mean, I told Nikki, I said, I'm just not sure I can handle falling in love with another animal and then losing it. So, but what I was going to say there, I'm looking at some of the comments here too. I know how you feel. It's Stacy Short saying, I lost my fur baby last year in April. It was hard for me to hold tears and cries at the vet's office. Yeah. We actually, right back there, right back where my finger's pointing right there is where we had her put down. We had her favorite blanket, and she would lay right there on those pillows up there. And Nikki would make a little pillow platform, and that's where she liked to sleep. And she'd lay back there and she'd watch for me to come in. Nikki said she almost always knew what time to look for me, and that she would just lay there with her head up, her ears, even though she couldn't hear, her ears would kind of stick up. And so, yeah, you miss that. You miss that little greeting. You miss that little tip, 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 tip sound when she walks around. She was just a great little buddy. Yeah, she was my little buddy. And so anyhow, it was tough doing it here. Lord, when she was gone, totally gone, Nikki just went crazy, and that tore me up. So I have been slow to get videos out, and it's also a very busy time at work. Lots of festivals and things going on. I work for a hospital system. We do a lot of community outreach, and I have to cover it, shooting videos and making a lot of website changes and stuff. And so I've not had a chance to do hardly any videos lately, but they're coming. I just won't have the pug there. But if you are a grieving person, you lose your animal, don't feel bad about it. I think that there's a special place in the heart of good people that love their animals. And I don't know, the people that love dogs, you know, I've lost cats too, and I cry, I get sad when I lose a cat too. But there's something really different, isn't there, about the relationship you build with a dog, and a little dog that really becomes, you know, very much intertwined in your life. And anyway, not me, no more downers. Well, Nico, the thing I tell Nikki when she starts getting down, because I can tell she's down, is a reminder of two things. And I would remind you too of this, is that if you're a dog lover, and you know, I told Nikki, I said, number one, Nico could not have been given a better life. We gave that little pug, it was spoiled to death. It could never have had a better life, and it could not have had an easier death. If we waited, it would have been a harder death. It would have been harder. So that's the two things I use to connect. Keep telling Nikki that no dog could have been loved or taken care of and spoiled more than that little dog was. And you know, she had a great life, and she had an easy death, you know. So folks, thanks for the little comments. Peace to all who watch. Again, do subscribe to the channel if you like. For those of you who watch this video after the live stream, give me your comments. You know, tell me what you think. If you've lost an animal or something, or you want to make some comment or something that might help a person that's grieving the loss of an animal. Again, folks, thanks for watching. I see some more people throwing some comments out here. Appreciate that so much. Just leave comments and you know, things that you think might help other people who are grieving a pet. Thanks, folks, and I'm going to end the stream now. Appreciate y'all watching.